mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
Metal Gear games have always been known for their signature stealth experience. Snake Eater radically revised what the first two Solid titles brought to the table, adding elements of realism using the PlayStation 2's capabilities. Snake Eater is chronologically the first game in the franchise, placing players in control of Naked Snake, who will go on to become the legendary Big Boss. It's placed in the 1960s, during the Cold War, integrating a fictional twist where a faction rivaling Khrushchev exists and is trying to finish a nuclear arms-capable tank, in addition to grabbing $100 billion. The game is built around an American hero known as the Boss, who defects to this faction, aiding their operation. Her involvement assists in explaining many of the unanswered questions players often find themselves asking after playing the first few games, similar to Star Wars. All the characters are done extremely well, often foreshadowed by the prehistoric codec in the game and the 2 feature-length films worth of cutscenes. You'll see familiar faces such as Ocelot and Eva, and experience their backgrounds.
The name's Eva.
Gameplay is quite different to other titles in the sense that it features mostly large, sprawling outdoor areas of jungle at the cost of 30 frames per second. The new features include a backpack to handle equipment, a variety of camouflage to use, a curing screen to remove health reductions on the life bar, and most significantly, a stamina gauge. The stamina gauge affects Snake's overall combat performance and is reduced by status ailments and movement. Maintenance of stamina is quite simple. Collect food by any means. I like throwing grenades at fish. Then you chow down. Some food is more beneficial than others and can poison Snake. I thought it was an unnecessary addition because food is plentiful.
Okay, just a second.
When it comes to stealth in Snake Eater, you can keep out of sight with camouflage, which many reviewers regard as just a number to monitor, and I agree. Staying hidden is far too boring in this game, although the alert phases are incredibly long and unfair, so you have no choice. Crawling through the jungle as quietly as possible is the only safe option. I might add here that the gadgets such as the sonar suck for detection. You have to rely on the camera. Close Quarters Combat, or CQC, has also been added to the game, giving Snake more melee moves to work with than Raiden. It's useful for knocking out enemies, but that's about it. You can also utilize it behind opponents, however the controls are awful. If there's one thing I hate in Snake Eater above all else, it's these controls. You have to tap lightly on the controls sometimes to do one thing, and after 5 playthroughs, I'm not improving that much. Aiming in first-person mode is harder than staying to watch Twilight New Moon, mostly because of the 30 frames per second and low sensitivity. I've been a negative Nancy again, but if there's one thing that keeps me coming back for more, it's the bosses. They're burnt into your mind after one encounter. Ocelot, Volgan, the pain, the fear, the end, the fury, the sorrow, and most importantly, the boss. My favourite by far is the end because of its unbelievably long sniper duel using patience as a weapon.
You're a soldier. Finish your mission. Prove your loyalty. Face me. Brace yourself.
Another definite plus is strangely the last 2 hours of the game. I think Snake Eater resembled one of those movies I've seen with an epic opening sequence and ending, sort of like a James Bond film. And funny I should mention that because the title sequence is done that way. The highlight for me here was the motorbike chase, where you're able to play. What an amazing 20 minutes. On the artwork side of things, the game created a beautiful environment and is one of the best looking games on the PS2, up there with God of War 2. It keeps the veneer of the 1960s with all the relevant man-made objects. Even the music seems nostalgic for that era. Some of the awesome work with the guitar and the drums are built in for every setting. After you've gone through around 5 hours worth of gameplay and 5 hours worth of codec conversations and cutscenes, you'll reach the conclusion, and all I have to say is, it's one of the finest endings to a game I've ever seen. I'll admit that I cried, manly tears as they say.
You are a true patriot.
She was a real hero. She was a true patriot.
Movie or game? Movie or game? Now, Metal Gear Solid 3 was the first game that made me ask the question, are games becoming too much like movies? And I'm not really sure what to think about this. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3 really was an excellent game. Being the first in the series, it had a lot of hype to live up to, and it's done an excellent job. Hideo Kojima really is a genius. There's not much more to say. The only thing that's really awful in this game is the controls and maybe a few of the stealth aspects. So I'm going to give it a 95%. It's not my favorite one, but it's definitely up there.
I love hitmen. No matter what you do to them, you don't feel bad.